Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be looking at Palos and his SLARK, which went 11-0 with 10 assists. Impressive in and of itself, but what's particularly impressive is the fact that, as you can see, at minute 19, his items are Falcon Blade and Radiance. He bought a Radiance. Now, it's obviously somewhat of an answer to Phantom Lancer. In fact, likely the only reason he bought Radiance on SLARK this game is because of the Phantom Lancer, but honestly, if you had to ask me, what should I buy this game? I would just suggest going Ags. Echo Ags. Diffusal Ags. Looks pretty good here. The Diffusal is very good against Ember, counters his ulti, has mana problems, same thing with Pango, and the Ags looks fantastic. The Ags Pounce is pretty good against PL. Pounce doesn't hit the illusion, so it does leash the real one somewhat reliably. It's very good against Ember's mobility. It's good against Pango's mobility as well. And so you could definitely argue for going the standard SLARK build, but no, he buys a Radiance.
Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like literally with the gameleap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the gameleap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below. I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there.
We're going to quickly run through the draft here, very quickly. And the reason why is I want to see, was this SLARK picked into PL or before the PL? If it was picked into PL with the concept of going Radiance, my mind is blown. Like straight up my mind is blown. And let's quickly see. They picked SLARK into PL with the idea of buying a Radiance. Surely. Are you kidding me? This is a thing? Honestly, I wish he went like 0-14 because whatever, let's get into the gameplay and see how this plays out. Alright, so in terms of the starting items, there's obviously nothing new here. Nothing new at all. He simply has, you know, Wraithband components, tangos, branches, and essence skilled against a double melee lane. We're not going to focus too much on this because the main thing about this lane is you're going to focus on getting your first few items and then get aggressive. Also, one thing I'd like to note about this laning stage is 3 minutes in here, actually about 30 seconds ago, he shipped out a salve and a stick. And a lot of players, when they're playing something like SLARK, they don't do this. And I can't understand why. Because, number one, it's a good stick lane. But the main reason why this is effective, outside of the fact that it's an incredibly good stick lane for the SLARK and for the Mirana, is because of the fact that when you are, even when you're in a winning lane, you need regen, right? Even if he thinks like, oh, this is a lane I'm supposed to win, you can't win a lane you're supposed to win if you don't have the resources for it, right? And so I think this salve purchase is particularly important. It's going to allow him to actually trade with level 2 essence if that's what he wants to do. We'll see if that's what he scales up. I have a feeling he might. There we go. He actually does here. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of players just wouldn't have this salve. They would rely on their support to buy them infinite tangos. Often the support won't because it's probably a 3k MMR pub you're playing and it's going to feel horrible. So always keep in mind the extra regen, even in lanes you're going to dominate. And having this bonus regen in lanes where you're going to dominate is very good. And you're even going to see him pick up boots now, just really doubling down on winning the lane. Also picking up a magic wand recipe to help with slot issues, and he wants to keep one in the mid game. So the first major play of the game is actually kind of a result of a mid rotation. Nothing too crazy has happened in this lane. It's actually been very even, mostly just a last hit battle. Until now, so the enemy goes for a side pull, which is eventually going to shove in here as he queues up his Falcon Blade. I'd like to quickly talk about Falcon Blade. The reason why I think Falcon Blade is the better mana regen plus HP item for SLARK over Echo Saber is the Radiance timing. If you're going to buy a Radiance, you don't want to delay it. The later the game gets, the worse Radiance almost always becomes. Right? It's just a flat damage amount. If it was percentage-based damage, we'd have a different discussion, but it's not. So what I like that he does here is he's waiting for the level 6 in a moment. He pounces out, nearly dies there, actually. That was close. He got that really close, and he's going to wait his level 6. He doesn't want to get dove and die here. So they call him the Batrider. The Batrider is going to shift over, and he does a good job on the execution here. Doesn't panic, holds his pounce for the right time, goes in, knows he doesn't have to pounce the Pangolier right away, waits, pops the Q to make sure he doesn't get stunned too long by the Dawnbreaker Q, drops the pounce at the last second, and secures the kill. And I really think that's an important note. A lot of players pounce when they're in melee range. This can be okay if you're playing against something like Ricky and you don't want him to cast Tricks of the Trade or Blink Strike. But when you're playing against, and honestly against Pengo, it could have been okay to set up there, I will admit. Maybe he could have pounced right away just to set up for the lasso. That would have been okay. But in general, when you're pouncing, you want to auto attack, and then when there's like a gap between you and the enemy, then you pounce, because that's what's going to maximize auto attacks. So when you're going for kills, keep that in mind. It's a big tip for SLARK as a hero in general. From there, he's going to push in the lane, and this is pretty standard SLARK. Once you hit level 6, you can begin to jungle. Previous to level 6, you basically can't jungle. It's horribly inefficient and very painful. But yeah, he's going to take the small camp, back to the wave when that pushes in, clear up the wave. He's going to get bullied out a little bit by Enchantress. He'll try to defend the tower here, which level 6 SLARK tends to want to defend his safe lane tower. It's almost impossible to gank this hero during the nighttime because of its bonus nighttime vision. It has a dispel, mobility, its ulti. It can't die unless you really are hard countered by something like Enigma. You know what I mean? You can't dispel it. All right, so the next play he makes is a rotation to the top side of the map. We're going to see him come in and actually just look to gank. And the main reason why he makes this play is they bring an overwhelming number of heroes to his lane. I know I just went on a bit of a mini rant on why you should defend your tower, but it's no longer nighttime, and you're not going to defend against this, okay? There is a limit to what you defend. If there is the position 4 in the offlaner, and they aren't counters to your hero, you should likely defend the tower, right? Keep it alive. Your hero is very good at enabling your offlaner to continue to farm. In a game like this, he doesn't want to take farm away from the Visage. So if he can stay in his lane, that's great. He can't now, right? There's too many heroes. They brought the numbers, okay? So instead, he's going to rotate to the Dawnbreaker, and that's a nice kill, right? They find this massive kill in the Dawn. That's particularly huge because it's going to open up the tower push for the Visage. So really nice. From there, he's going to head into the Dire Woods because he's in the area. Might as well. He'll clear up the camp. A little bit of a mana regen problem here, so I expect him to ship out Clarities, as he'll continue to take the jungle camps here, going pretty deep into the jungle, and I would expect him to rotate mid after this. Maybe there's an opportunity for a top fight? Yeah, so he's actually going to show up to the top fight here, popping his Clarity on the way there. This doesn't look like much of a fight. Maybe you try to snipe the tower? Or, I don't really know why he's running here. Is there even a kill here? What? You have no mana? Oh, you had no mana. Oh, so that's just really a really heads up play from Palos. Identifying that the Ember Spirit doesn't have mana. That's one way to kill him. All right, I didn't expect that to work, but he was right and I was wrong. And yeah, from there you can hit up the woods. Of course, as I said, if you can stay in your lane and farm the safe lane, you can do that. It's way better to take lane creeps plus jungle on SLARK, but sometimes that's just not an option. Especially if you gank your offlaner's lane, you don't necessarily want to take the farm away from them. If they're a greedy hero like, you know, Beastmaster, Visage, they can jungle too. That's an option. It's definitely an option as he goes for the mid deny, but someone's going to have to sack their farm a bit and only hit neutrals. All right, so he ends up shifting to the mid lane and playing the mid lane farm, which is kind of weird. It's not usually what you would expect for a carry, but I guess he feels like he's the most survivable as they actually make a pretty nice rotation to almost kill him here. But the mid lane is pretty dangerous at this point of the game, and honestly, with the mid tier 1 tower down, this is honestly really impressed with Execration's decision making here. This is something advanced to keep in mind for Dota, guys. If your tier 1 mid falls, it becomes probably the most dangerous part on the map. Very hard to play. But during the nighttime, or just in general, SLARK is good at playing dangerous areas, because if they see you, the game tells you your Shadow Dance regen will stop. So if you're out of vision and they see you, well, you just know. You know if they have a ward, you know if they're smoked, you know if they're coming. And when you're pushing in the wave, you're dispelling yourself to push in the wave. So I really like their map setup here. They put the Batrider and the Visage, two heroes that are quite gankable, right? These two heroes would certainly die to like a Chains plus Dawnbreaker ulti combo. So instead, the SLARK, who super doesn't care about Ember Spirits, SLARK completely ignores Ember Spirits early game ganks. As long as he has some HP, you know what I mean? Sleight of Fist hurts. But he gets a 16-minute relic here. Really impressive stuff. 16-minute relic, 7.5k net worth. As he's going to head back to the mid-wave, shove up the mid-wave. I'll clear that up in a moment. I guess he's a little bit afraid of a mid-rotation here because he's moving to bottom. Oh no, they were considering taking a fight. He's got the Sacred Relic. It's potentially a time to go. All right, now he completes his Radiance at minute 18. A very good timing. Let's see him team fight now. I want to see if this is actually an effective build. I guess it is because he goes 11-0, but let's check it out. All right, first thing to note is they actually are able to pick up an Aegis, which is kind of massive because when you have something like Radiance, the longer you stay alive, the better the item gets. That's why it's purchased on heroes like Alchemist as well. Right, it's very good on these types. Alch also likes the farm, but either way, he's going to hop onto the PL, or at least look for the PL. Doesn't want to pounce in, which, oh, it's on cooldown, but I don't know if he would have pounced anyway, because with the Radiance, right, with this variation, I think it's more about just kind of staying in the enemy team, staying near them, and if you commit your pounce right away, you can't disengage, and you'll likely just get chased down. As he is getting chased here, probably will have to pop the ult. He does, but he falls anyway. It's a bit of a dangerous situation. He's going to have to pop the Q to try to get out here, and he will. Maybe can even look for the Pango before disengaging. No. So he's going to kite out. The Radiant's not looking too good there. I'm not going to lie. Let's see. Let's watch the next fight. That one, his team died right off the bat, to be fair, and they were low from the Roshan fight, though. So honestly, to my surprise, he actually farms for the most part, worrying about completing his BKB. And I will admit, as I watch these farming rotations, for instance, something like this creep wave, SLARK usually has a bit of a hard time killing the wave, because what you have to do is you have to Q and then like hit. You have to hit all the creeps, and it's really slow. The Radiance actually speeds that up a lot, and you can kill the small camp at the same time, or like drag camps together. So I will admit the Radiance, when it comes to farming pace, is impressive. It's impressive. It's a way slower timing than Ags when it comes to fighting, so that is kind of the downside. It's definitely way slower than an Echo Saber type variant, so you got to keep that in mind. But it's definitely much better for scaling, slightly for farming purposes, as he turns off the Radiance to avoid waking up the Sleep Dart target, and then they're going to hit the arrow off of that. Really nice play. So pounce onto the Pango, guarantee that he doesn't get off any sort of roll, as they now hop onto the Dawn, and the Dabench starts to come out. That's a great jump from the Riki, and good follow from SLARK. Oh, as they hit another Sleep Dart arrow. This Sleep Dart arrow thing, it's not a meme, but it's so weird. It's actually so annoying to play against. All right, no joke. Yeah, the Radiance seems mostly purchased as a farming item. I will say the evasion is good against PL. So how Radiance works is everyone who's affected by the Radiance burn misses 15% of their attacks, and you get 15% evasion. So your hero against right clicks is way tankier. So it is good against PL in that regard. Makes you way tankier against PL. However, it really does feel like the main purpose is just the farm. And the reason why I say that is when PL gets Heart of Tarask, Radiance is not going to destroy him. The 15% mischance, it's okay, but it's 15%. Right? You can't justify 15% evasion for 5 point something K gold. You know what I mean? It's just not, you can't make that argument. You can't. And so I really believe, I'm honestly impressed with the farming speed. That is the main selling point to this build for me. If there was a reason why you could do it in a game where there wasn't a PL as well, maybe there's just a lot of unit heroes, there's some Beastmaster Sven comp, I could see that as well. Like, you just think that the game is going to slow down, your team doesn't want to end the game, and you just believe in the scaling potential of SLARK, which SLARK scales extremely well when you get this much net worth. I mean, he's currently 16k net worth, and he's about to complete a Radiance in minute 27 with a BKB. I mean, he is huge. As we'll see the fight break out here, can pop the Q. I would expect him to pounce a bit earlier here. Just because pouncing as fast as you can in the current meta when you hit Ags is good, because, or in the current state of SLARK, because you get 3 stacks of Essence Shift, which is 9 Agi. It's a ton, right? 9 Agi just for hitting a pounce. It's really good. As he looks for the PL here, pounces into the Pango roll. And all right, the smoke. Honestly, this is a rough PL game. It's like on paper, you look at it and you're like, Visage is horrible against PL, Bat's horrible against PL, SLARK is bad against PL, kind of. Mirana is not very good against PL, and Riki seems not good against PL, but honestly, Smokescreen is so bad for PL because you don't buy BKB. You actually get owned by Smokescreen. It's a 75% mischance. Plus the Radiance, this guy can't hit anybody. Honestly, this Riki hero alone makes me not want to see a PL on the enemy team. No joke. Like, once he puts down the smoke screen, it's so hard for PL to fight. Actually, the SLARK's getting owned here, but he's going to pop the ulti, leash onto the PL. It is kind of the good part about this matchup. The leash against PL is very, very good because it means the doppelganger. Leash onto the Ember too, and yeah, honestly, the Ags timing from SLARK here is extremely good. I'm very impressed with this gameplay. He clearly knows his timings. You know, if you put me in this game I would have been like, we need to shut down the PL. I'm going to buy a diffusal Ags. I'm going to buy Echo diffusal Ags. And we're going to try to shut them down early on because I'm afraid of this PL. But he understood the smoke screen is way too good. The Radiance mischance combined with that is really impressive. And he scales. The Ags is really great here. And yeah, he could have bought it earlier, but he's now level 20 with the Ags as well. And SLARK's level 20 talent is extremely good. You get 1 agility gain stolen per essence shift stack. So it's very, very, very strong, right? It's then 4 agility gain. So when you pounce someone, you get 12 agility instead of 9. And every single auto attack is an extra agility. So it is very, very good. The other one's honestly not bad too. The Shadow Dance attack speed, it works with your shard, I believe. So it is, honestly, I could see both being the talent you'd take. And how are these talents better than the level 25 talents? So bizarre. All right, they're going to find Q here on the Dawnbreaker. He'll come in. Doesn't want to commit a pounce. I feel like he could have just to steal some extra agi. Honestly, I think it's something a lot of players forget about. But typically, you don't want to commit your pounces unless you have to. Just so you can engage and, of course, disengage. The Dawnbreaker's going to buy back here as they hit an arrow on the real PL. He could pounce him to prevent the Doppel as they're going to lasso and pounce on him. He'll pounce again, and there you go. Wow. I mean, to be fair, that wasn't necessarily anything to do with the Radiance mischance, and I wouldn't argue the Radiance damage, burn damage did anything there. And I'm just blown away. I'm blown away that I expected this video to be a high tempo SLARK game where they ran at PL with the Radiance, and that was the concept. But it seemed off to me because Radiance, it's just not that good of a... It's honestly not that good of an illusion, anti-illusion item. It's not like 60 damage per second insta-kills illusions. It's far from that. So the fact that it allowed him to scale and be somewhat of a PL counter is very cool. And now finally, after he completes a Scotty, he picks up his shard. I will admit, I think he should have picked up his shard much earlier. I think SLARK shard is a top 3 shard in my opinion, maybe even the best in the game. If it wasn't a 75-second cooldown, if it was like a 30-second cooldown, it would be completely broken. People would play SLARK support, no joke. People do play SLARK support. Here's the thing. It's your ulti, but you put it on the ground and it works on your teammates. It's so powerful. So powerful. For 3 seconds, they can't be targeted. It's insanely good. Especially in games where they don't have like AoE disables. For instance, this game, the only hero that counters it is Pango, but the PL and the Ember practically can't do damage. Because you can't chain anyone, you can't slight them. You can flame guard an ulti, but it also heals them, by the way. So I would have liked to see an earlier shard, but cool game. Really great performance from Palos. His understanding of timings and the fact that he had discipline, right? And to farm up the BKB after the Radiance. Having the discipline to understand that the Radiance wasn't an early game counter to PL. It was more about a mid-game thing. It was more about a scaling thing. He was not even worried really much about the PL at all, I feel like. It almost seems like they thought that Ricky was good enough, which Ricky's a PL counter, guys. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all. But remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.